Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Desperate Measures. So, in the main room of the keep, we have Valerio and Jebediah, and they are discussing the what would you call this? The morality of raising dead, the trustworthiness of Ebner,
Well, yeah, the trustworthiness of Ebner is really what I'm looking for right now. Jeb is the only one out of us four that was there with Ebner when they originally killed the original necromancer. So at the time Will and I had different characters. I was Vaughn. Will was Joka. Our two characters died. So, for all Valerio knows, Ebner just, told him that he can raise the dead. So Valerio is looking pretty sideways right now. He doesn't know. Suddenly, given all of the morally ambiguous things Ebner has been sort of walking the line with, Valerio has been tolerant up until this point. So now he's looking at all of the events that have happened in the past and wondering if Ebner actually this entire time was willing to bend the law so far to get the people from Mystria to oh my god, Meadstead. There you go. Latrine to Meadstead, yeah. So at this point, I just need Jeb to vouch for Ebner that he's actually on the up and up, and that he did come to me and chives in all good faith, and that everything has been legit up until this point. Yeah.
All right, let's see how this goes down.
Yeah. So, Jeb, I need you to tell me, just in your own words, is Ebner an honorable man? What happened during this necromancer that you said that you slayed?
Is Ebner an honorable man? What happened with the necromancer? Did we kill our own friends because they wouldn't go along? Those are some bold words from you, Valerio. And you know what? You weren't there.
I wasn't.
That necromancer had been there long before we ever even arrived to Eridon. What did you do about it?
That's fair.
Now to say that Ebner killed some of our best friends, where we went through hell together. We went down, traveling around south of Eridon, trying to make a living for all of these friends and family. So that way, none of them had to deal with any of Scoria's goons coming along, tearing them up, because we had a bad stroke of luck, and the trip we took 2 months to get to, nearly killed us all. All we found was a scrap of paper and a couple of coins. And then we come up here for people we don't even know. People who, honestly, if they had known our origin, probably would have killed us. We risk our own lives. Yeah, we got something out of it. We finally got a place to call home. But in the end, we're just trying to save folk from the power hungriness of bigger fish, whether that's a dragon or some necromancer count off in fortune, or just some asshole on the road with a knife when you don't have one. Now, is Ebner an honorable man? Sometimes yes, sometimes no. Does he always tell the truth? No. I don't understand why he says the things he does, but I've learned that probably about 7 times out of 10 doesn't get us into too much trouble.
I understand.
For you to question us like that, all the shit we've been through, it's almost like you haven't been around him the past several weeks.
I understand. So, as a former paladin of Belmontarius, I may not have his powers of discerning evil anymore, but I have been around criminals, and I feel like I know how to discern an honest person from a dishonest person by having a heart-to-heart with them. You seem like you would die for Ebner. You've been through thick and thin with him, yes? If you say that you vouch for him, then I'm inclined to believe you. But there is one thing that remains. He's telling me that he can raise the dead. Does this sit well with you? You must admit that this is outside the norms of what a cleric stands for.
I'm not going to tell you whether you should go along with it or not. 'Cause I still haven't come with that answer.
All right. Well, if you can give me the promise that you vouch for him, then I believe you, Jed.
I mean, I can vouch for him as much as he can vouch for himself.
I understand.
Now, what he does down the road, I told him to be careful. And quite frankly, I don't think he should do it.
It's fair enough. You seem, I think we seem to share the same sentiment towards our unease of his raising of the dead. I would speak to him regarding this, but I appreciate you being honest with me, and I am sorry if you think that I impugned the integrity of what you have done here today. So I apologize, and thank you so much for coming clean with me. Yeah, that's it. I think he trusts that Jeb is on the up and up here. Yeah.
And I do believe you were going to then talk to Chives as well, right?
Yeah, but they went off.
Oh, yeah.
Me and Chives went off to the tavern.
Yeah, we went to
Right.
get some mead while they were doing the thing.
I guess the only thing I would talk with Chive, well, yeah, I mean, yeah, probably. We'll see.
So, as you go off to talk with Chives or whatever, or the group splits up a little bit, the next moment, I should say, Jebediah finds himself alone. I want to put some thoughts in your head, Jebediah.
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember the first time Ebner created an undead?
I remember like it was yesterday.
Was that after you guys slew the necromancer?
Yep.
Hasn't he been getting more into raising undead and seeing them less as an evil threat since he took that necromancer's weapon? Ever since he's been wielding that bone spear, he's been a little more like, it's all right, let's raise the dead. Let's just eliminate this town and spare all these people from their lives by killing them all.
So he definitely has been getting a little more brutal. That kill 'em all thing was rather uncharacteristic of him. But as far as the weapon goes, I'm pretty sure the Archwizard over in High Castle told us, oh yeah, it was like some hobgoblin thing. It wasn't about a necromancer weapon.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's not so much that a single item has made him think that. I think he's got a vision so big that he's kind of being consumed by it.
So you don't think he's been, what's the right word? You know,
Corrupted?
if corrupted, or if that spear was actually like a phylactery of a necromancer, and now he's carrying it around with him.
I mean,
You
Jed
don't
doesn't
think that
even know
there's
that word.
something that's true.
Probably don't even understand that concept. Like that's just never anything Jeb could have ever thought of.
Okay.
But Jeb thinks anything like that would be internal to Ebner, not external.
So there's no chance Ebner is secretly being taken over by the ghost of that necromancer. Did Ebner also end up with the cloak, or did you end up with the cloak?
I have the cloak.
Okay. And you don't feel
And
the thoughts of
No.
an evil necromancer creeping into your mind,
No.
do you?
no, like I don't I don't like this. I don't like it at all. I think there are a lot of means that are justified by the ends, but I don't think this is one of them.
Okay. Why don't we flip back over to the scene at the tavern? Because this is your tavern. You took some time to set it up, and it's going quite nicely.
Good. Fantastic.
You got hot-ass waitresses. You got a fantastic bartender. The only thing that you're really missing are people with money to spend at your tavern. Because most people are pretty broke right now. You know, the people that came from Mystria came with whatever they could carry, which includes the little money they had, but probably they've been having to spend that to get
probably
situated.
all copper.
Yeah, and it's all copper.
Need
So
whales.
you find yourself in a tavern with all the right things, but your customer base is a little weak.
Yeah, so
I can't really
how I kind of
afford
think this is going in my head is we got set up to meet people again. So I imagine that basically all the money we make, we're basically net zero at the end of the day. That whatever we spend on our mead is going immediately to the mead makers who are making more mead and so on and so forth. That there's really not a lot of, there's no profits for Chives at this point, is how he's looking at it.
Okay.
But Chives has got something else on his mind for Ebner as we're going over there. Is really his question. So Ebner, something's been kind of on my mind since our conversation up there. We had some books that we found from the necromancer, and we held on to them for a little while. Were these the books that help you raise these undead?
Sadly not. Don't you remember when I gave you the book to give to the other guy? Said these are useless for me.
I remember your words, but it sounds like you still have the ability?
I received the ability from Tempos himself. If you read those books at all, it's not it's not a divine way of raising people. It's about transmuting and moving things and blood magic, whereas mine is very much a higher power. I would be even willing to show you. You saw how they did it in the books. How I do it is completely different. It's a spell and they're up.
I have no desire to ever see that, Ebner.
Not for the weakest stomach.
You know, our magics come from different ways. I've studied for mine a small amount, and you get yours from the gods. I can't really tell you what to do with the will of the gods. That's something that you yourself know. I won't say I'll stop you, but I can't say I agree.
Do you have any
Well, not that I even could stop you. I'm sorry?
Do you have any loved ones? Anybody you love or loved?
I do.
Would you do anything that you could to keep them safe?
I would, to a degree. I can't say I'm around them, though. I left them a long time ago. Many years now.
I would do almost anything I could. And by almost is, I have a few tenets with the way I raise people. I will never raise someone who has committed no evil, murderous acts. The only way that I'm doing it is I feel like they stole somebody else's time and their destiny. So they're going to pay Tempos back by serving under his banner for their heinous acts. I seen 2 people die in front of me, and I just don't want my friends dying ever again. 3, actually. And I know that Count Vicious is an army a million times greater than what we fought here.
Thanks for not forgetting Callum, by the way. Sorry.
Unforgettable character.
Appreciate it.
Chives thinks about his words for a minute and goes, well, I understand that you were leaving the wrath of Scoria, but over here we've had our own wrath. We've had a wrath of undead, a wrath of demons. One would say that Eridon is almost cursed with a terrible fate.
And that's why I came here to change it.
Curse the disease that is known as player characters.
Yep.
True. Well, Ebner, Like I said, I can't stop you. I'll listen for the stories if someone knows about this, but if this is ever brought to the light, I will never protect you on this.
Well, I don't expect you to. I don't expect to need you to protect me.
He kind of nods his head and goes, well, here's some ale. I've got some words with Neal before we get out of here.
All right.
All right.
I want to go talk to Mr. Chill Neal.
Chill Neal. Mm-hmm.
All right.
Yo, what's
All
up?
right, Mr. Neal. All right, how's it been going? What's going on?
Well, not so great.
I understand.
Yeah, prices being what they are, people can't really afford very much. It appears that they'll come by once a week maybe, because that's all they can afford. And I was wondering if we could cut prices down to, just above what we pay for beer. So that maybe we can get people to come in more often, and at least that way we can make up with quantity.
We could definitely try that. I trust you to kind of run the finances of the place as long as you keep the books well. Are they trying to trade anything else to us other than copper? Is there something that maybe
certainly,
we could export out?
We're now the proud owners of 10 chickens.
Well, that's something. What I'm trying to figure out what to do is there's other towns nearby. If we could find some way to trade some of the commerce for the things that they're making here to somewhere else, we could get some more gold coming back into them, which they could in turn spend to us. I understand this is a little bit of a long shot here. I was planning on taking a trip either over to Tharnham and then back down to Confluence at least. Is there anything we could start moving back and forth to make some more gold here? Maybe this is something I could take up with the local new lord, if you will, and see if we could start moving some product of sorts.
Well, we've got some livestock. We've got some grain. I took a couple of IOUs for a few hours of work from people, just in case, the bar breaks. And rather than having to hire someone, now we've got people who just owe us labor. I figured that would be an acceptable trade.
Of course. Especially, they're good with their hands here. I guarantee you it'll pay itself off eventually. Someone will break something. It's the law of a tavern for sure.
Of course. But mostly, it just seems that there's not enough money to really make this place what it could be. It could be something special.
I see. Are we still able to keep up with our staff, if you will? Everyone's still getting fed, at least? Fed and drinks?
Well, yeah, they're getting food and drinks and not much take home, but it's either that or go work in the fields, and this is a mite bit more gentle.
I figured it would be, especially for that pretty lot. The blessed by the chiefs, if you would. Well,
definitely.
If something comes to mind, keep me in touch. I might be doing some traveling here in a little bit, so let me know. I'll stop by before too long.
Aye, Captain.
Yep. Also, this bottle of wine's going with me. And he takes, I guess, I don't know if it's a bottle, I guess it's a skin. The skin of wine's going with me. Snags the skin of wine and heads on out.
All right.
Well,
Ebner will remark to Tribes, he's so chill.
He's a good one for sure. He's a good one. If only the rest are this good. And Chives will, well, I guess we need to get back to the, I guess it's not a castle. You called it a castle, but it's more of
it's a keep. Yeah.
Keep, yeah. We'll head back to the keep.
Okay. I think this is where you'll run into Valerio, who is leaving the keep now. He did previously want to talk to you, but I don't know if his conversation with Jeb has chilled him out as well.
Yeah, I was still gonna talk to Ebner about the erasing dead thing. I think Valerio is reasonably convinced that the sequence of events that was told to him is true. Yeah, it's just the only thing left is the whole raising dead thing. Yeah.
As I see him run into each other, Chives is going to tap his pocket. So, oh, you know what? I left a component at the tavern. I'll be right back. And he'll leave those two alone for a minute.
Sure. So, Ebner, I talked with Jeb. He seems to be vouching for you, and I am a mind to believe him because everything that he said with fervor and with the utmost respect for you. So I have enough experience dealing with liars and thieves that I do not believe that he is one, and so I'm inclined to believe that you are indeed an honorable dwarf. But you need to tell me more about how you came across this raising dead thing. What are your thoughts on it?
Well, I woke up one day and Tempos granted me. I asked. Ebner ponders to himself. I don't remember exactly. I think I was granted a vision into an insight that I could, keep everybody safe if I use this spell that Tempos granted me. And it's not an unholy thing. I'm not mutilating people. I'm not taking their organs out or anything. I'm merely giving them what they deserve. Think of, how people sit in jail for the deeds they've done, and the hangman comes and hangs them. Well, basically, think of me as the jailer for they're taking people's time and I'm getting it back. Vengeance, as I would maybe call it.
So you're returning people's time to them. It is not. My issue with it was it seemed that Tempos was fating them to die, and you were bringing them back. But if Tempos is okay with this, and this is you returning their time to them, can you?
Well, you know about magic. You can't use your spells right now. Your god is a little bit upset at you. Why would Tempos grant me a spell that he didn't want me to use?
This puts it lightly, but yes. The oath you spoke of earlier. What is your code behind doing this these deeds?
Let me get you a very specific answer for that.
Yeah.
I have it somewhere. It's in me and Koibu's DMs, but I gotta find it.
Yeah.
Koibu should look at his DMs.
Sorry,
this is Valeria checking
know
your...
when the last time I sent him this was. I sent him a few things.
Maybe I can help you find it. What are we looking for?
Where Ebner tells you I tell you basically like what lines I will do it on. I'm trying to remember.
Lines?
Yeah, like basically I said like Ebner will only do it to evil people or people who have murdered or people that Tempos has fated to have this casted upon him. I made it like a very specific thing.
Sure.
But I can't remember the exact wording.
If you can't find like the exact stuff, I think I'll
yeah, the basic thing was that like I had made like a actual oath I thought that I sent to him.
Sure.
Parts of Ebner's oath: murderers, people who he deems as evil, speaking on behalf of Tempos, and people who told him prior that they are willing to come back, animated to fight for Tempos. Those are like the three tenets.
Right.
So no random people who are in a grave I will resurrect. Yeah.
Gotcha.
You made it semi-specific.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Sorry. Go ahead.
Things are coming. Count Vicious is not probably going to stop at Stromheim. Doesn't seem like he stopped when he got the town near Fortune. They're going to come here eventually. And people are too busy worrying about Scoria, too busy worrying about the demons, to worry about the undead threat. Seems like I'm the only one thinking about it. And if we're going to have any chance of keeping them at least from not destroying this whole town like they did before, I think it's best that, the ends justify the means. Just as...
I assure you that you're not the only one thinking about that. We definitely... It seems that if your stories are true, which I believe them to be, we definitely took this village from an agent of Count Vicious, and I would not put it past him that he would wish to take it back. So, if
you would be interested, I'm planning on the first person I'm bringing back is going to be the necromancer. If you would like to see the ritual, it's pretty quick. It's not any crazy blood magic. From one unholy caster to another, I think you could benefit from seeing that I'm not doing anything untoward to the body. I'm not doing anything crazy.
I don't know that I need to see that, but what would suffice for me is if in addition to this oath that you say that you are taking, you make that promise, that same promise that you will not cross the lines of your oath, and you make that promise to me. And if you break that promise, I will hold you personally accountable. I may not be an agent of Belmontarios anymore, but you will answer to me. And if you wish, you can hold me accountable for anything that I do in the future. We will keep each other honest, because it seems that this is a thin path that we walk down. And one should not be walking down it alone.
The thing is, if I can do the oath to you as much as I want, but if I step outside of these lines that I've set for myself, I already made the oath to tempo strike me down immediately. So I think I've done it all, but I'll make the oath to you here as well, I guess. I will not raise anybody who's not a murderer. People that I, on behalf of Tempos, deem as evil, and people who told me prior that they are willing to come back, animated to fight for Tempos. I swear that to you as well.
Very well. I accept this, and I go to shake his hand, and we do that.
Before you shake his hand, there's one thing that he said that I wanted to get your specific opinion on.
Yeah.
At some point, he said, in these circumstances, the ends justify the means. Mm-hmm. And as a person who was very into the concept of justice and not just vengeance, how does that notion strike you? The ends justify the means.
It strikes me as very, very true to me, because given what I've seen happen in the past, and given that I've, at this point in Valerio's sort of ethos, he's come to grips with the deed that he did as right and just and truthful to him. For people who don't know, he basically passionately slayed this criminal. Instead of bringing him to justice, instead of bringing him to the law, he decided to enact his own brand of vigilante justice. And he's been trying to wrestle all the way up until approximately he got spit on by someone. And he's been wrestling with the idea, kind of going back and forth, that maybe I need to really come back to Belmontarius and stuff like that. But at this point, Valerio is much more so in with the idea that you really have to take things into your own hands in order to see things done. And he has seen Ebner, and he knows that Ebner is an honorable person, but he has also seen that this sort of walking this tightrope, this line, seems to get things done. And so he's much more going along the lines of
So you don't think there's anything? There's
Yeah.
nothing wrong with the notion of ends justifying the means, right? That's not a.
As
if you
long
need to
as-
murder these
yeah.
50 innocent civilians in order to bring down this bad person, that's in line with justice.
Harming innocent civilians is probably a little bit.
Well,
That's
but
pretty.
if the ends justify the means,
Was what Arthas did really wrong?
Well,
yeah, it was.
the culling. Well, if it comes to that, yeah, I mean, I suppose this is a bit of a cop out, since this is probably one of our final episodes, but I would say at Valerio's current status, he's sufficed by the oath that Ebner has asked to live by, and that is not to harm innocent civilians, that is not to bring anyone back that doesn't want to voluntarily be brought back, and that the people that he's bringing back, he's reclaiming time in the name of Tempo. So along these lines, he is satisfied as long as that line isn't crossed. Yeah, that's where he's at right now.
All right. Well,
Yeah.
the party can, I think, gather probably in the streets, coming from different places or locations, and meet up. And was there anyone else that needed to have a conversation separately?
Unless Valeria wanted to talk with Chives.
Yeah. I want to talk to Jeb, I guess, when we get back, but
do you need to speak before you give your answer to Baron Calmwater?
I want to talk the thing over with Jeb, I guess, before we do it.
Yeah, let's hear it. What do you guys think about this shit?
Well, I know that most of you I looked at each party member uncomfortable with the notion. But
That's quite light.
I think that I and Tempos think that this is the way. If you're on board, we can talk after, but I will be taking the head cleric job here. And I think that even if you're not on board, all of those jobs offered to you would be amazing, and you would be assets to this community. I hope that we're all on the same page about keeping this just between us.
We should probably discuss the details of keeping this, keeping whatever your plans are outside of. Obviously, I don't want these shambling undead to be walking around this village in the broad daylight, and nor would I ask any of the villagers to be okay with that. But
none of the villagers will ever see them. They're going to be in the temple crypts, working in the temple in full Tempos garb. And as Jeb knows, when you work for Tempos, you take a vow of silence. I winked at Jeb because multiple times when we went into towns, I had him and our other friends take a vow of silence, so we didn't have to go over the language barrier.
Oh, right. Yeah. Sure.
So,
are you lying to Valerio right now?
How is this lying?
I think
there seems to be maybe some manipulation of the truth, maybe not an outright lie, but definitely.
I will explain to him then, like, what happened in the towns and how I had my party members do a vow of silence. I'm not intentionally lying to him.
All right, so when you say have people take a vow of silence, you're saying that sort of tongue in cheek. That's not like
it's not like but like now it will be like a real vow of silence, right? Because zombies can't speak.
Cool.
So like a tongue in cheek, like callback and they're not going to talk, and that's going to be what the way it is. And I'm
just concerned that I'm just talking
shambling
about
dead walking around the town would be insane.
Yeah, exactly. We're clarifying just the details of how you're actually going to implement this just a little bit, because it's not going to be like this is a town of the undead and people are going to be okay with it. It's just about defense. Yeah.
I think if even one person saw who was in the town, they probably have like a legitimate like PTSD towards zombies. Sure. They were in the catacombs, locked up, eating each other. So like, me letting them see zombies of our own, it would never happen.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Okay.
I can't deal with you three holy men. I can't stop the God's will. We've got one from Tempos, one of Astaire, and one who's blessed by almost Nadinus himself. I can't stop you from your God's will.
Well, the gods have blessed you with lucky feet, Chives.
Don't say that too loud. Many of my kind have lost their feet over that.
I don't stop in that.
I promise you, I guess it'll be my job to hear about it first.
At the end of the day, it is very difficult to escape the God's will in this world.
True. I have no doubt in that. However, some are more connected than others. I was blessed at the beginning of my life, and they've really let me do my own will. Y'all seem to have a more of a connection than me.
There will always be a mighty fine statue of Jexelinar in my temple. I like to Jeb. What do you think about the ranger job, Jeb?
Well, I mean, it kind of sounds like what I was going to do anyway, just with more reporting.
More money.
Sure.
You've never been a man of means, though. Don't really care about that.
Like, sometimes it's nice to have, but I mean, what am I going to spend it on?
I'll tell
Trav's
you what.
overpriced beer.
I'll tell you what. If you think it's overpriced now, you have never been to another tavern. You can always drink free, Jeb. You know where it's at.
Now I don't even have that to spend it on.
Well, if you want to spend it, I'm not going to stop you. Nor is Neal not going to take your money, I promise.
Temple always
But,
take your donations, Jeb.
You can spend it where you will.
All right. I will motion over the guard.
Yeah, you head back to the keep. You can motion of the guard. You can meet with Baron Calmwater. He comes back down to your room. You can hear the sawing of tables upstairs, the pounding of hammers. It appears the keep is well underway to being restored to its former glory, but upstairs is still quite under construction. He looks over the four of you and sees that you've come to some sort of resolution. Read in your eyes, and he thinks he knows what's up. He gives a bit of a confident smile. So, gentlemen, do we have an agreement?
Well, we all wanted to discuss the pay, I think.
Maybe you did.
Yes.
Well, let us hear your offer.
Well, the High Cleric, of course, makes his money by whatever donations are through the church. You would just serve as a spiritual advisor to me. I think if the state were to pay you, there would be some sort of conflict of interest here. So, of course, High Clerics are sort of on their own in this capacity.
About that, I know that it's a little not unethical. I know it's a little weird, but I was wondering if I could just be a general counsel as well. I did this in my other, so I could. Is there like a seat of counsel that he like brings in, like
Yeah,
Game of
that's what
Thrones style?
he's suggesting
Okay.
creating here would be the four of you. He would also have typically a gatekeeper, which is the person who lets people in and out of the keep and decides who gets to see him when, and a captain of the guard, which would then like organize his militia and whatnot. But there's just not enough people. There's not enough gates. Like the resources aren't there for these things. So the council would probably be the four of you. And then once a gatekeeper or a captain of the guard came along, the sheriff would probably be swapped out for this other person. And the sheriff would take care of townly duties, and then the captain of the guard or the gatekeeper would be in on the council, and they could bring in the sheriff for whatever reason. But sheriff is more like day-to-day policing instead of like political leadership.
Maybe even the paladin could become the gatekeeper if we find a sheriff.
Definitely a possibility. Yeah.
Okay.
There's room for promotion there.
Ebner's cool.
Yeah, sorry. After Ebner mentions money, Valerio just raises his hand and he goes, "Money is of no object to me. This opportunity is too important here. I will accept implicitly."
Great. Because money is tight, and I was going to have to ask if you didn't mind being paid a little less than we normally would for a town sheriff.
Totally understandable.
Perfect.
Absolutely.
Perfect. Glad to have you on board, Valerio. I think a man with your experience and your understanding of what it means to fail those that you've sworn to protect or those that you've sworn to, follow will give you a sense of mercy in addition to a sense of justice.
Absolutely. I am honored that you have given me the opportunity, Baron. I will not fail you.
Good. He looks to Jeb.
Well, I mean, it's kind of what I'd be doing anyway, just now with the title and extra reporting, so I guess.
I thought you would be interested. This smelled like something you would want to do. From what I've heard, I've talked to some of the people from your hometown. They told me a little bit about who you were and the way you behaved, and it just seemed to fit up very nicely.
Not because he smells like a ranger, right?
Has nothing to do with his odor.
What odor?
Exactly. And chives.
Well, I was already collecting stories before. I guess I just need to point my stories in more of a general direction. Maybe this is something we could talk about with less ears.
Of course, I wouldn't expect a spy master to speak quite so openly anyway. Think you're on the track to becoming quite good at your job. We'll chat once the others have been dismissed.
I'd also like to talk to you after or before you and Chives meet. Doesn't need to be today. Doesn't need to be tomorrow. Just event soon.
You know what, Ebner? You can have your conversation sooner than later. He seems to be lacking some meat, and I imagine he would like some after dinner. I can swing by then.
That'd be
Sure,
good.
I would like to square this away as quickly as possible. So perhaps, Ebner, you can take a stroll around the keep with me, and the rest of you wait here so we can hammer out these details, and we can appoint our positions, get you on payroll, and get this city on track.
Yeah, mine'll be really quick, so stroll will be
Good.
fine.
Cool. So he walks
One
outside.
might say Chives has a little other business with someone delivering the wrong pizza, so he will be right back.
Got it. He strolls with you outside the keep.
I was curious. I saw the zombie hands. I was wondering if you had the necromancer's body, if I could get a hold of that for blessing.
So we
that
threw
are-
it in the grave with all the others. The hands. This is why I need a cleric on my council. Now that the others are here, I'm not afraid to admit to you that I don't understand magic or the undead. But I thought if for some reason the zombies come back to life, they would be far less useful if they just didn't have hands. So we chopped all the hands off all the zombies before we buried them. So if they come back, they'll just do this.
They could punch you harder that way.
Punch you harder without the hands?
More force, I would assume, towards the shoulder to the, be like getting hit with a club then instead of them be
See,
kind of the same.
this is why we need a cleric on hand. I need someone who understands the intricacies of working with zombies, of understanding magic. I need you, Ebner. I need you.
Would you say you're afraid of zombies?
Of course. Terrified.
Yeah. Me too.
The
Well,
concept of those that keep coming even when they're dead, you run them through with your sword and they just strangle you on the spot with your sword through them?
it's going to be a weird question. Is the grave buried yet, or is it still just open?
We're still pulling out bodies and tossing them in.
I'm going to need the necromancer's body. Otherwise, it could infect the whole grave. I need to bless it and get that soul squared away.
What
It
would we
should
do
be
without
pretty-
you?
Yeah, should be pretty easy to tell which one it is. All the other ones are probably very malnourished.
Mm-hmm. Yes, we can. I'll have one of my guards show you to the big pit if you haven't seen it yet, and I'm sure he'll. Well, I bet you could dig around and pull out some corpses. It's gonna be a mess, though. It's just piles of
time.
bodies.
I'll go right now.
Wait, but you're on then? You'll join my council as the high cleric of the town?
Oh, yeah.
Good. And he grasps your hand and shakes it.
Ebner will go and find his body.
All right, well, there's a pit with corpses in it.
Yeah. It's going to be hard. Yeah.
It'll be weird digging through the bodies and
I have
looking
to
for the right one.
cleanse this necromancer body, Koibu.
Well, after a little while, you find it, and you can haul it out of the pit.
Thank you. And I'll transport it to the temple.
You take it to the temple. Where do you go
Okay.
inside the temple?
I'm going to go to the catacombs.
You bring him to the catacombs where he did his work of necromancy, of raising his dead.
I'm going to leave it there for the night. Squared away, locked up in a cell, I'm sure, or something. Sounded like he had cells.
There's not
down
much
there.
in the. There was the one set of bars that they put across a catacomb area. There's not much in the terms of cells.
Is there a coffin or something down here?
Oh yeah, there's a
Anything?
coffin. Yeah, totally.
I'll
totally.
put it in a coffin for the night.
All right, yeah, and you can nail that
I
shit
want to get
shut.
my correct spells and my blesses. And
Okay, perfect. All right, you throw the necromancer's corpse in a coffin and nail it shut, so even if he does come back, he won't be able to break out. And go to prepare your stuff. Meanwhile, Baron Clearwater comes back and grabs Chives. Chives, you wanted to speak?
Yes, and I'll look around. Who else is in the room? Just me
Take a
and him?
walk with me, he says.
That'll do. So we
You
kind of start
had,
walking around. Go ahead.
So you had concerns, right?
Yes, I would say this is the first time I've really taken part in this kind of task, as I'm sure you can understand. One doesn't really bounce from being someone's spy master to someone else's spy master. Would make kind of a poor one at that job, correct?
Correct.
I just wanted to make sure I understood what this job would entail. Are you worried about something already, or are you thinking that, or are you just trying to look ahead?
I'm looking ahead. I haven't heard of anything problematic. I haven't heard of any enemies. There's no plan to overthrow me that I'm aware of. But this new kingdom of Eridon is more fragile than they might lead the people to believe.
Frankly, it sounds like the dwarfs are already leaving, so I can imagine.
Yes, and Tharnum's position is a tenuous one. The new king of Eridon thinks they belong with us. They want to go somewhere else. And as one of the closest towns to Tharnum, it might put us in some trouble. I don't know what sort of trouble yet, but I could see it coming. I need to know what people think elsewhere, and I can chat with hoity-toity nobles, and I can go to court, and I can do those things. But often information flows best at the subordinate or sub-subordinate level. You know, I tell my captain of the guard one thing, he speaks to his guards, and then his guards chat with the guards at the next town, and information flows. But I can't pick that up without someone on the ground level, someone that can walk amongst the enlisted men and discern truth from rumor.
I understand. I think I can help you with this for now. I see no reason why I couldn't, and I see no reason in the future why I couldn't. However, we may need to chat more about your family, your past, to make sure there's something you didn't mess up on. But for today, I can say I can start.
Did you have any things? Requisites?
I'm sure I will, but on such short notice, I need to think and need to give it more time. There's a few things going on in town that could help me with this information gathering. If people were able to come back to the tavern more, had more coin in their pocket, it would definitely help the information at least spread through that establishment, which would be, I think, the primary one for this town. So if there was maybe some trade that we could do, or something I could help procure in other towns, that would give me a area to move around, reason to be somewhere, which is usually better than not. I would rather have some level of truth. Makes the how you say, the misinformation a little bit easier to travel.
Right.
I understand with rebuilding that there's really nothing to do here at this given moment, but finding a way to put coin in pocket is usually a good way to get people to buy ale, which loosen lips and tongues.
Right. Well, I can offer you whatever is needed, whatever turns out to be reasonable. If you need a little money to get something started, there's some family funds that I have available. If you need permission to do a thing, I can give you the permission to do the thing. But I don't really know what that entails.
I might say that sometimes it might be too quick to ask for permission, so there might be some forgiveness required.
I assume you'll work from the shadows, and that you will tell me what I need to know, and you will give me plausible deniability where I don't need to know it.
I will do exactly that.
Good.
I mean, as the job is required. I do wonder, though, did those books ever make it back to Confluence?
Books?
Yeah, when we first came here, I left a note and some books with somebody. They were supposed to make it back to Confluence. Just wanted to make sure they made it over there.
So many things have come. I'm sure it got done, but I can't confirm it for you.
Well, it sounds like I've got the first thing to look after then. I appreciate your time.
I appreciate yours. I'm going to go inside and confirm with the other two their positions here in office. And then we'll have our first meeting of the small council next week. How about that?
Sounds good.
Excellent. He reaches out and shakes your hand if you will let him.
Absolutely, I'll shake his hand.
Okay. And then you go your way, and he heads back in to Valerio and JacobH. Meets with the two of you still hanging out there. You've got some bread and some water now. And he says, the other two are on board. And it seems like you're on board as well. So he reaches out a hand to Vaughn.
Valerio.
I'm on.
Hey, we got them
Valerio.
all. We got them all. That was
Got
awesome.
them all.
Yeah.
Sheriff,
I shake his hand.
it's a pleasure to have you. He reaches into a pocket and pulls out a freshly minted bronze 6-pointed star.
Wow.
This is for you.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Well,
I put it where it needs to go.
go lock someone up or whatever it is that you need to do.
I understand. Thank you very much.
Excellent. And he turns to JacobH and says, I don't have a badge for you, but I don't think you need a badge.
Nah, I don't need a badge. I mean, do I need a badge to just walk around and see what's out there?
You don't, but you might need a horse, which I can provide for you. And come with me, and he will take you to the stables where there is a brown mare, quite young, with a saddle, maybe a little high-spirited, not quite fully broken in yet. And he looks at the horse and is like, she's a little wild. She's a gift from
perfect.
a family member, and we haven't had a chance to break her in yet, but I thought, who better to do that than you?
But as far as animals go, this is a domestic animal, which, as it says in the book, they just kind of automatically like me.
Absolutely, yeah. You know
and
how to
I can
handle these
tell.
suckers.
High quality horse.
Ooh, this is a great. I'm gonna pull out in the DMG.
Ooh.
There's like a section for variant horse qualities.
He never gets to do this cool stuff.
I never get to play with the variant horse qualities because everyone was like, yeah, I just buy a horse. I don't give a shit about it. I tie it up to a tree. I come back a week later. Oh, it's dead. Oh no, I would have
fuck
fed
it, I'll
it
go
the
buy
whole
another.
time. Right? Whatever. Moving on to the new horse. So
Yeah,
now that
pretty
you,
much. All right, there's 75 gold down the drain.
yeah. So maybe page 166 in the DMG, horse quality.
We had a donkey once, and Koibu got some griffins to kill it.
Oh,
That checks.
They call me the
checks.
animal killer.
Yeah. I mean, you kill more animals than the players do.
I tamed Yetis before with a natural 20,
You did?
oh, I
did?
remember that. Yeah.
and then they died.
Okay.
Wasn't it a baby Yeti too? Right. It's
Oh yeah, I remember that. It's good.
All right, Connor, give me.
Yeah.
Oh wait, hold on. Another matter is another matter where quality's importance is in horse flesh. There is a world of difference between a high-spirited stallion and a broken-down nag, and it's not always apparent to the eye, although it is usually pretty easy to tell a scrawny, swayed-back old mare from a fiery stallion. Buying a horse is something the player character should always approach with care, lest some unscrupulous horse merchant pull a fast one on them. Further, horses often have irritating traits that can make them less pleasant to be around. Table 25 lists the different quality of horses and the effects of each. Note that not all horses need to be assigned a quality. For simplicity, you can assume all horses are average quality. Let's see, there's a movement rate modifier, carrying capacity modifier, cost capacity modifier. Why don't you... Actually, I'm going to roll this one. All right, you have a high-spirited horse. It has a 33% higher movement speed and a 25% faster, greater carrying capacity.
Yeah.
But it costs twice as much to buy. That's okay, you don't have to buy one right now.
Oh, yeah.
Now I would like you to roll me a d10 for the trait of your horse.
Just roll well.
10.
Yeah, I don't know if high is good or bad, or if it's all just sort of like spread throughout. I don't know what...
It's my
Yeah.
favorite number.
4. It's a good number.
Cuatro.
4. Single rider.
Get mates for life.
No one else can ride it. Maybe.
Untrained horses. Some will train just plain headstrong and figuring they know more than the riders, do what they want. Single rider horses have been trained too well, recognizing only a single master. With time, they can be ridden by a new owner, but they will not respond to others, even friends of their owner. So I don't think this is trained too well. I think that this is a sort of a wild horse, and you're the only one who will be able to ride it. And it'll like kick and strain against anybody else, but it has an affinity for you. And anybody else trying to get on this horse is going to have a hell of a time. Yeah.
Not a bad time.
Yeah, and then 33% higher movement speed. So instead of 24, what's a third of 24? 8?
32,
You'll have
baby.
a 32 movement speed on your horse. Very
Holy
nice.
shit.
Can you say what the other qualities are, or do you not want to reveal them?
Oh,
Perfect.
I guess I'm just curious.
You got
Yeah.
shadow facts over there.
Yeah, dude.
Jeez.
You're muted, Will. Will, you're muted. Can you hear us?
Will can't hear us. He
You can't
just
hear
keeps
us.
talking.
And there it is.
Okay, there we go. So I
Can
was
you hear
looking at
us,
the
though?
DMG and the horse. Yeah, I can hear you for sure.
Okay.
Oh, good. Okay.
And that's just its base movement speed is 32, right? It can like go 2 times faster than that if you like force it in certain situations. So is that like a 72 move horse at some points if you like full sprints on it?
6'4".
if you
6'4"?
sprint it, yeah, probably.
Wow.
That's
Holy
that's
shit.
pretty. Yeah, you got a fast ass horse. That's
awesome.
a mover. That's a mover and a shaker right there.
Oh, I've got the perfect name.
Let's see. Other traits include they could buck. I'm not sure exactly how that. Bucking horses are always unpleasant. At least the rider can usually feel the horse tense up just before it happens. They also have bone jarring. Untrained horses. I don't know what bone jarring means, but it's another trait
Like
your
the
horse could
gate's
have.
uncomfortable.
You could have a horse that bites, a horse
Nice.
that rears, a headstrong horse, one that kicks, one that leaps, and one that knows tricks. So there's like 3 good qualities, and the
You
rest
got-
of them are
yeah.
shitty, and you got
Yeah,
one of the
decent
3
one,
good
yeah.
ones. I think the leaping is
Or
probably pretty
not
good.
super detrimental.
Yeah.
The
Sure.
leaping sounds good.
Mm-hmm.
The biting will be like a war
nose
horse.
tricks. I think biting
I'm
is
pretty
more
sure.
like it bites
Yeah, it bites
people
you. Yeah.
as people come to try
Bites
work with it.
people.
Yeah.
Kicking's pretty bad if it's going to kick you or anybody else around it.
Uh-huh.
Can't even bring it into town. It's just going to kick everybody.
Keep it in mind
Oops,
for the next
sorry about that.
campaign that someone wants to like feed a horse. Like you got to roll to make sure it's not the biting horse. The horse bites you.
The horse bites you. Oh, you're the
The
wizard. You're
favorite horse I've ever ridden, the
dead.
favorite quality,
you're dead.
was it would blow its stomach up to make it so when you're trying to cinch it down that you can't cinch it all the way. So as you'd be riding it, it would finally let the air out, and so the saddle would fall off the
Oh.
side. So you have to
Oh.
What a
literally
little shit.
knee it as hard as you can in the gut to make sure all the air's out, and then it would like you go, there's the rest of the way,
And then
you
you
cinch it the rest. Yeah,
Smart
their
horse.
horses can be assholes.
Genius.
Interesting.
For sure.
Wow.
Yeah, they're smart too. They're stupid smart sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
Also stupid.
Mhm.
Yeah, also stupid, but stupid smart. They're smart enough to get into trouble, which is really the problem.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, so you guys all begin to work as employees of the state for this town. Why don't we take a break here, and when we come back, we'll skip ahead in time a little bit.
Can we do my necromancer thing before we skip?
Yeah, absolutely. So we'll see you guys on the other side of a break. Bye-bye.